Hey, Alan, one of the things we love to do on this show is support indie filmmakers and tell you about their movies. So let's talk to River of Blood director Howard J. Ford. He's here to talk to us about his film. Hey, Howard, how you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm very well, thank you. And yourselves?
Great. Good to see you. Thanks you can join us here today. Your film is out. I see. Are these posters from all your movies in the background?
From some of my movies. I've done
some.
Few. I know this. Yeah, I've done. This is my 12th feature film now, and I'm about to start feature film 13. So I'm in prep for that stuff. So I've been busy. I'm an impatient man.
Nice. Tell us about River of Blood.
River of Blood. Okay, thanks for having me on the show, guys. Really appreciate it. And yes, the River of Blood is about 4 kayakers who go on a beautiful vacation to these sort of indigenous woodland and up rivers, and they have a guide played by Joseph Milson. But unfortunately, there is also a tribe of cannibals out there, which is never good for any vacation, I think. But so they take a wrong turn up at the wrong river where they're told not to go because one of their friends goes missing. And of course, they stumble upon the cannibals' ground, so they kind of start getting picked off. That's it in a nutshell, really. But we went to Thailand to shoot this movie because I love going to exotic places. It was a beautiful place to go. So there's no green screen here. We all got on a plane, went to places, and went up rivers and went into the mangroves and the jungles and put this film together.
Well, good on you for not using the volume or fake. Fake settings. That is great. Thailand. So you convinced the producers to go to an exotic locale. Did you get vacation time?
I did a little. Do you know, I always this is a great question because every time I kind of do half my films in places because I want to go there. And also I like to take audiences on journeys in maybe places they haven't seen either. Because let's face it, most movies happen, I don't know, they seem to happen in a room. There's a lot of rooms. You're in a room now. I bet most people are in a room.
Yes. Right? I don't want to be in this room. I want to be out.
See the world, man. Yeah, exactly. So I always like to do that. I like to do that myself. I used to say if I wasn't a filmmaker, I'd like to be on a ship discovering new lands. I think they're all pretty much discovered. So I'm a bit late for that. So filmmaking is a way of getting me around the world. And yeah, originally we thought, it's just kind of ridiculous. We thought, where are the real cannibal tribes? I mean, I'm not suggesting.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we thought Papua New Guinea. And I said, can we go to Papua New Guinea? And I go on to the government, do not go there. You know what I mean? So we thought, okay, where can we go? And I've been to Thailand a few times on vacations. And I love the place. I love the people. And I remember seeing some really stunning filmic locations. So, yeah, convinced the producers and the financiers, who are very lovely. Reinvent financed this movie, and they sold the movie as well. So they're the ones who would have sold it to Saban, etc., to release it. And thank you for anyone who watches the movie. But yeah, I met these guys these guys, they're mostly women, lovely ladies, and they financed financed the movie from a Zoom call. I've never had that before so I thought, hey, that's pretty brave. I really don't want to screw this up. I want to come back with a film, at the very least.
Yeah, I've got to say that I've seen a lot of indie films shooting out of Southeast Asia, and more and more these days. What was it like shooting in Thailand, and especially the fact that you're doing a kayak movie in Thailand?
Yeah, great question. So there's two answers to that question. The local crew were fantastic. So the Thai crew, we hooked up with Thai crew, Thai production managers, and they got us local crew. And they were really, really great. And our DOP, a director of photography, a guy called Park, who I've worked with on a few commercials now as well. And he was originally from Thailand, but lived, half an hour away from where I live. And he'd done a movie with Tiffany Hannum Daniels, who's in the movie and in a couple of my films. And it said, oh, this DOP's from Thailand. I thought, well, I want to do this movie in Thailand. So why don't we kind of hook up, and maybe he can speak the lingo and all of that, because you got to get the thing done. They were fantastic. The crew were great. However, I do not recommend trying to film on a kayak. So it's like we were trying to do all the script, and Tom Boyle wrote the script, who also wrote The Ledge, another movie that I did with him. And we had all this dialogue sequence on kayaks, and it was like the practicality of actually shooting that was really, really a nightmare. Trying to get one shot that is in focus, where the one kayak's not bumping into another, and you're not falling in the water, and the sound person's got, you know what I mean? I don't recommend that. I don't recommend that. That was a headache.
I think you and Spielberg don't recommend making movies on the water. That's
Don't
pretty.
make movies on the water. Do you know what I said to myself, because I made The Ledge as well? I said, when I got to the end of it, I said, don't make a movie at height. And now I'm about to make another one. I just made a movie in a cave. My last movie, Bone Keeper. Sorry, I'm not here to promote that, but I'm in post-production on Bone Keeper, which is a monster movie in a cave. And I understand now why with fantastic movies like The Descent, which I love, they shot it in a studio, not in a real cave, because I get to these really dangerous locations.
Well, I love this concept because I went down a rabbit hole of those sort of tribes that have been left alone, and then you contact them. It never goes well for people that try to contact them from the outside world. They don't understand our ways. It's bad.
Not really. And that's a fearful thing that we have, and it's an incredible. You go anywhere. It's like you go to a new town that's you kind of into a bar or something, and even that we feel like, hang on, this is not my town. I have no idea how things go around here. That's a bar that's not even in your state, right? It can be. I don't know how it is for you guys, but we can, even where we shot the movie. The movie the places you go, you're not familiar with them at all. So going right out into places where they live indigenously, We've
got like 3,000 people watching live. We have questions from our audience. Before we get to that, let's watch the trailer for the movie.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Who's feeling adventurous? I'm going to be your river guide for this trip. Any of you been on a kayak before?
How long have you been out here?
My great-granddad was one of the first outsiders to come here. But unfortunately, he disappeared.
What's that?
No one knows half the stuff that's out here. It's ancient land. You've seen the way spiders keep live flies in the webs. The way that a cat plays with a mouse. Killer whales take a nip out of a seal. So they're playing with us. Somebody!
You have to get out of here.
No. No!
Damn.
Terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah, it was a journey down memory lane, or should I say memory river? I don't know, but it was thank you for showing that, guys. Thank you for watching it, folks.
Yeah, let's go to questions from our audience here. We got a lot of them here. Okay.
Yeah, from Razorburn. Was this movie inspired by the 1980 movie Cannibal Holocaust?
This is a great question. I wish the answer was yes. It isn't. Now, I directed the movie. I didn't write it. The writer, Tom Boyle, did, and he's a great writer, but he hadn't seen those cannibal movies. And funny enough, when we started talking about making the film, I realized in the group of everyone involved in the movie, I was the only one who'd seen these original Cannibal Ferox, Cannibal Holocaust, all of these original cannibal movies. And I'll be honest with you, I personally, having, enjoyed those movies at the time. My brother and I watched a lot of these types of movies growing up. Probably shouldn't have done, but hey, I'm not damaged. And so I probably would have put even more blood and gore in the film, I'll be honest with you. But I think no one else was familiar with it, but it wasn't inspired by that film. I wish it was. It wasn't.
All right. Texas War Eagle for 5. Now this looks like the White Lotus Thailand we never got. I'm in.
Oh, thanks, man. I hope so. I hope it delivers for you. You never know when you make a movie. You try your best to make something good and give people a different journey and everything else. I hope it works for you. Thanks for checking it out.
All right. Christopher Moonlight Productions. Are you going to tour this movie in theaters? I'm learning that movie theater chains are much more open to indie films now. They want different content for their screens.
Christopher, that's a great question too. I would say I would love to have done that. So Saban are telling me or saying that the film is in quotes in theaters and on demand, and I've had some people say they're buying tickets in some place, but I don't even know. I've got to admit, I don't even know where it's showing in the States. It's allegedly on theaters somewhere. I don't even know where. I think, to be honest, the majority ends up being digital and on demand these days. I'm really glad to hear they are more open, but it's still really hard for us indies to get movies in the theaters. If we're not a big Marvel movie or whatever, I'm not knocking big Marvel movies at all or anything like that. But these big sort of, huge blockbusters, it really is still hard. I'm glad to hear there's rumors that it isn't, but let me tell you, it's still tough.
Yeah, it's a very new trend. And so some make it, some don't, but good on them for getting in.
Yeah, thanks, man. Patrick's up. Shall I just answer? Would that save you guys time? I don't know how.
Let me see. Read it aloud, Alan.
Okay, I'll read it. You made 5 films since 2019. How did you get on such a roll? Has everything been pre-sold?
Yeah, great question, Patrick. He knows his onions. Yes and no. So I am on a bit of a roll. I've had a few successful films. It's always an up and down journey. Yes, my film. I'm a pre-sellable director now, which is great. Hey, I'm not boasting. It's one of those industry things where you get to a point where you're because I get the films made. A lot of movies don't even get finished or don't get made, or there's some problem and people lose their mind halfway through because filmmaking is stressful. So I've generally delivered all the films I've set out to do, and I've had successes here and there in thriller and horror movies. So I'm now pre-sellable. So I'm the type of person, as a director, you can attach to a film, take to a market, and you can get a certain amount of pre-sales. It may not be hundreds of millions or whatever, but it'll sell for a certain amount. So we didn't pre-sell River of Blood, but most of the projects I'm doing now are pre-selling, or indeed at promo stage. We cut a promo, which is like a long version of a trailer. You take them to Cannes and AFM and all the markets and that, and so we're now pre-selling. So, and I've got another film that's already pre-sold enough to get financed, and Bone Keeper, as I mentioned, that's in post-production, so that's done and it's already selling to distributors. So the role is getting a little easier. It's still like walking through mud, but I'm noticing there's a bit of grease on it now.
I'm told it's like trying to run in a vat of Jell-O.
It is, and I would say Jell-O is being very kind. I would say there's another word I'd use for a very muddy substance that you might be running through, but I won't use the word. But yeah, it's sometimes that. Filmmaking is nuts. It's the Wild West, honestly. It's really crazy. And I always remember something I was told at school, or I think it was Rudyard Kipling quote, if you can keep your head while all others are losing theirs. It's a funny old thing. It just stayed with me. It's something I heard as a kid. So the madness of what goes on sets and people falling out and your prop falling down and the weather is no good and everything else. And I always try and stay in a zone where I think, what can I shoot? If I can't shoot what's on my piece of paper, what can I shoot? Because I've got to come home with the film.
All right, ADL's asked, we can see the legendary Tony Todd behind you. Anything to say about your time getting to work with him before his sudden passing? Did you have other projects in mind to collab with him again?
Oh, you're giving me goosebumps now. Thank you, man. That's a great question. And the answer is yes. I did during lockdown. You remember that? That was fun, right? And we all had such a great time. I just thought, right, I wanted to make a movie in lockdown, and I couldn't because it was, you're not allowed, right? I wasn't allowed to do anything. So a couple of weeks in, I got incredibly bored and impatient, and I decided to make a film that I could shoot in lockdown. And I'd met Tony Todd. Sat next to him on a long-haul flight to Los Angeles.
Wow.
He was coming back from the UK, and we chatted the whole way. He actually really liked my film, The Dead. I made a zombie movie we shot in Africa about sort of 14 years ago, which was actually very popular also in the States. And he really liked the film. So he was kind of a fan. And I was like, obviously a massive fan of Tony Todd. Love that man. And we had the most spiritual and wonderful conversation on that flight. It wasn't like a surface conversation. We kind of went deep in the time we had. And I really appreciated that. So I really wanted to get him in the lockdown hauntings. And I actually shot the rest of the movie live. But Tony Todd's stuff was done on Zoom. And I made that entire movie without any crew. So I did the sound recording, did the camera work, just went around the country with a load of camera equipment during lockdown, because there was a loophole in the law that I was allowed to keep making films as long as I wasn't ever standing within 2 meters of anyone. So there we are. The Lockdown Hauntings, that's already out in the States. But hey, I made that with absolutely no crew at all. But Tony Todd was wonderful. He played a ghost, paranormal psychologist. And yes, I was. Oh my god, I might give you guys an exclusive. I don't know if to do this, but anyway, we made the Dead 1 and we made the Dead 2. My brother and I were getting ready to make the Dead 3, which is the third part of the zombie series. And we may or may not still be doing that. But we were writing a part for Tony Todd. Really good leading part for Tony Todd. I'm so gutted, man. I mean, I love Tony Todd. He was a super, super wonderful man and a fabulous actor. Yeah, he'll be missed.
Okay. St. Solomon asks, greetings, Sir Howard. Love your posters. Was there any issue getting the film made? And if so, how did you resolve it?
Yeah, I mean, films, there's always issues getting them made, and you always wish you had more money. And I have to say, we had some issues on River of Blood. We were in a wonderful place, but some people got ill from dengue fever, which happens when you got mosquitoes all around you. And Kelly, our lovely costume lady, was one of the people who ended up in hospital for that. So we certainly had our challenges. Harking back to the Dead, though, just as a side issue, if I may, when we made the Dead, a zombie movie we made in Africa, I love Africa. That was crazy. I mean, I got mugged at knife point. We were held at gunpoint almost every other day by armed police. We often wouldn't make it to the locations. The lead actor got malaria. Rob Freeman, he got cerebral malaria and was on a drip and was in 2 days of passing away, as the doctor told me at the time. So how we made that movie, and that's the most extreme situation, that if my brother, we were directing, DOPing and doing this thing together. Often we had food poisoning most days. We'd be like, okay, what lens should we put on this camera? We'd go, excuse me. Yeah. Finish vomiting. Yeah, I think I have a long lens on this. And it was kind of made like that. If the sound recordist wasn't, vomiting or, being a human food blender, we could do dialogue that day, so we, that's how we rolled, on that film. That was the most extreme I've ever had. So there's always challenges. Filmmaking is really, really much tougher. If you haven't made a film, please trust me, it's so much tougher. And all these films out there, and I've seen some great films. I've seen some terrible films. We've all seen them. I've probably made some too, from one end of the spectrum to the other. Every single film that someone makes, even if it's terrible to the beholder, has been a huge sacrifice in their life. And they've set out to make a really amazing film, and they've tried their best to give you something to entertain you. We don't always get it right. We try our best, but I do know that it's an incredibly tough process. But hey, it's what we signed up for. So there we go.
Well, I'm told the movie is out today, so make sure. And it is in theaters. Look on the AMC app. Look up the film. We have two more questions.
All right. Killer Mike G for 5. Great interview. Question regarding distribution now. Any interesting trends or changes you've noticed or like to share about distribution?
Great question. You've got some great questions. You've got some great audience members here. And yes, I have. And I'm afraid they're not all good. So what I have noticed is, which is really killing the indie films particularly, is, and don't get me wrong, I've had 4 movies on Netflix. I had a one in the top 5 Netflix movies over Christmas and New Year, and it did really well there. But a hell of a lot of people, that your film comes out and they'll say, what actually happens in a massive load of cases now is they'll say, is it on Netflix? And if it is coming onto Netflix, they won't rent it. They won't pay anything for it because they've got their subscription. Let's say, I'm not saying it's Netflix doing anything wrong, just that a lot of people will watch it if it's free on their streaming platform because they don't really want to pay, the price of a coffee or, a couple of coffees for a movie. And so that's really, really difficult. That's hit the indies hard. So that's squeezing our budgets down massively. And, I miss DVD. I still love to have and to hold, movies. I got a big box of DVDs right there, and I still love that. And I don't know, I'm sure it's the same way you are. That's kind of dying out now. And, held on to the fact I've got a couple of sons, and their machine still works with DVDs that they're playing games on. So I hung in there a little bit longer. I miss all that. There's a lot of things, a lot of It's tougher now when we don't have that. And also, it's really tough because it's hard to get people into a theatre to watch your film unless you pump a lot of advertising money on it. And when you're at a certain budget level, you cannot justify that spend, which is it's really frustrating because we showed River of Blood in the cinema in Cannes and at the Cannes Film Festival. And I've had some terrible screenings at the Cannes Film Festival with some of my films too. But that one was fantastic. We filled the cinema. And my God, the sound, because some of it's in the feeling of the atmosphere, the flies, the sound, and that stuff works so incredibly well in the cinema. I always worry when my film goes digital that, please pump your sound, please do something with the sound, because it makes such a difference, that kind of experience.
One last question here as we wrap up.
Yes, from I Will Not Eat the Bugs. Hi, Howard. Do you have any English horror hidden gems that you can recommend? Loved your film The Dead and looking forward to River of Blood.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for enjoying The Dead too. The Dead 1 probably. Dead 2 as well. Some people enjoyed that. Well, look, there's some fantastic little indie movies out there, and I please hope you all check out Bone Keeper 2 when we get that movie done. I'm just trying to think of what to recommend. I still love, if you haven't seen Danny Boyle's original Shallow Grave, I'm just going to say I loved Shallow Grave as a little indie. I know it's a while ago now, and I also loved Dog Soldiers. And The Descent, which were
Descent.
Oh, come on, yeah. And I've now gone and made a cave creature. I'm blatantly advertising. It's not out yet. But I've gone down a cave and made a monster movie, so that's something else I hope to talk about.
I'll give you a quick recommend. Maybe you know this movie, Psychomania. It was George Sanders' last movie.
Psychomania, man. And also my brother's a huge fan. You guys will get on well of that movie. Loves Psychomania. We used to love that movie. So
what a great film. Zombie bikers. I love it.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Yeah. That was fun.
Howard, thank you for joining us on the show, sharing the trailer, your thoughts. River of Blood is in theaters on demand today. Go check it out. Thank you so much for joining us. When your next movie comes out, come back.
I will be back. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everyone who checks out River of Blood and for all your support on all of my films. I make them for you.
Take care.
Cheers, man. Cheers, guys. Take care. Thanks, everyone.